Hej alla ni som följer oss live och välkomna till dagens pressträff. På pressträffen medverkar statsminister Ulf Kristersson och Rumäniens premiärminister Nicolae Ciucă. Efter pressträffen kommer sändningen att finnas tillgänglig på regeringens webbplats regeringen.se.
Most welcome to this press conference after my meeting with the Romanian Prime Minister, Nicolae Ciucă. And dear Nicolae, most welcome to Stockholm. Your first visit to Stockholm. Most welcome. Allow me, first of all, to extend my very warm congratulations to our friends in Finland. After the ratification of their NATO membership application in the Turkish parliament last night, they will soon become full NATO members. We started this important journey together 1 year ago, immediately after the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Sweden and Finland will both make the alliance stronger. Of course, Sweden and the other 28 NATO allies who have already ratified us would hope that we could have taken also the final steps together with Finland. And we are very grateful in Sweden for this strong support from future allies. I thank Romania for the fast ratification of Sweden and Finland. And as I have said before, to ratify is a national decision, and only Turkey and Hungary can take Turkish and Hungarian decisions. So let me finally echo the Finnish President Sauli Niinistö when he says, "We look forward to welcome Sweden as a member as soon as possible." The main topics for our discussions today have, of course, been European security and our strong and united commitment to Ukraine. But we've also discussed the serious situation in Moldova, courageously fighting against Russian interference. We've discussed European migration policy and, of course, the Schengen enlargement. There is an obvious momentum right now to take important steps forward in European migration policy. Sweden and Romania are working together on these issues. Over the last year, we've had some 10 Swedish staffers working at the Frontex and the EU Asylum Agency in Romania. We very much appreciate Romania's commitment to and improve migration management, not least including the new pilot project between Romania and the European Commission on best practices for return procedures and for border control. Concrete steps have also been taken the past few months at the EU level on external border control, the safe countries concept, and on progress in the Migration Pact, which is the big lawmaking package now being negotiated with and between the EU institutions. We all know that the external borders of the EU are extremely important to be able to keep our internal borders open, which takes us to the second of today's topics, the Schengen area. The Swedish EU presidency is promoting a constructive dialogue with Romania, Bulgaria, Austria and the Netherlands on the Schengen enlargement. Most recently yesterday, of course, when I met with the Austrian Federal Chancellor Karl Nehammer here in Stockholm. And it is my strong belief that we need to improve the trustworthiness in the European external borders and increase the number of people who actually leave and return after a negative asylum decision. This will also facilitate Schengen enlargement. The Swedish government's position is that Romania fulfills conditions for joining Schengen. Finally, before handing over to you, Nicolae, I would like to add that we really appreciate Romania's commitment to air policing in the Baltic states for the upcoming months. As future allies, let me underline our Swedish preparedness to do the same air policing in the Black Sea once we are full members of NATO. Thank you, Nicolae.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, dear Ulf. Thank you very much for your very kind words and your very good hospitality. And I do really appreciate what we have discussed during our meeting. It's a great pleasure for me to be in Stockholm today, especially considering that this visit takes place during the Swedish Presidency of the EU Council. In fact, this is also the first bilateral visit at Prime Minister level in almost 2 decades. However, sometimes partnership and trust between nations is not reflected only in the number of visits, but in concrete gestures of confidence. Should I recall that Sweden was the first Scandinavian nation to ratify Romania's accession to the EU? Or should I point that Romania has been amongst first allies to ratify the NATO accession protocols of both Sweden and Finland? And I'm using this opportunity also to congratulate Finland for this very important step. I think these examples are to prove that in Bucharest and Stockholm we understand what is important for each other, for our citizens, but also for a secure and prosperous Europe. I would like to send a strong message of our support for Swedish accession to NATO. And Romanian example confirms the value of being protected under the strongest political military alliance in history, which is celebrating these days 74 years, but also benefiting of the developing opportunities offered inside European Union, especially in this very complicated period of time. We analyzed the implications of Russia's illegal and unprovoked war against Ukraine and how to counter its multi-sectoral and serious consequences that affect us equally. We agreed we must continue to support Ukraine by all means and at all levels, political, including by advancing the European integration, economic, military, and humanitarian as well. In this respect, I presented the multi-dimensional support Romania has granted and continues to grant to Ukraine. I refer especially to the assistance provided to over 3 million Ukrainian refugees who entered our territory in transit or for a couple of days, but also the specific assistance and benefits granted to over 110,000 Ukrainians who have chosen to stay in our country. Romania facilitated the transit of grains and other Ukrainian agricultural products through our country, over 14 million tons of agricultural products to be more specific. I also mentioned the trilateral format launched last September together with Ukraine and Republic of Moldova to help the 2 states in the field of energy, and we have discussed in details this subject. With Prime Minister Kristersson, we assessed the situation in the Republic of Moldova, a country facing multiple challenges generated by the aggression of Russian Federation and in Ukraine. I have called for support in the EU Council for the sanctioning of those who want to destabilize the Republic of Moldova and thus undermine its constitutional order and the rule of law. I emphasize that Romania is and will remain an active promoter of the integration of the Republic of Moldova in the European family and a firm supporter of its sovereignty and territorial integrity within its international recognized borders. The talks I had today with Prime Minister Kristersson confirmed our common goal, the revival and efficiency of dialogue, not only as regards our bilateral cooperation, but also as EU partners and future NATO allies. I also express Romania's interest to strengthen our cooperation in both political but also economic and sectorial fields. We have discussed the opportunities and the potential Romania and Sweden is having, increasing the investment of Swedish investors in Romania. So thank you very much for your presence so far in Romania, and looking forward to see more Swedish investors coming and investing on our country. I underlined that Swedish investments, as I said, in the automotive industry, medical technology and health infrastructure, agriculture industry, and that's very important taking into account the Romanian agricultural potential, are both needed and welcomed. We are open to develop the cooperation in all these sectors. I conveyed to Prime Minister that Romania supports all the priorities the Swedish EU Council presidency is having. I highlighted the importance of advancing the European agenda through the consensual approach based on solidarity and orientated towards strengthening European unity and resilience. We both agreed that there is no event accepted to weakness our solidarity and unity. As one of the topics on European agenda is migration, although Romania is not part of the problem, we definitely want to be part of the solution. Romania is already responsibly protecting the second largest border of the European Union, which is repeatedly confirmed by the European Commission, relevant agencies, and the EU member states. We recently decided to join the pilot project managed by European Commission as a best practice model in dealing with migration. We also discussed about Romania's priority objective, the accession to the Schengen area this year. I thank the Prime Minister for the positive stance and active support of the current Swedish presidency in trying to identify constructive solutions that would allow us to move forward in this process. As Romania is already contributing in securing Schengen area, we are ready to consolidate our efforts as members. Considering the challenges we face on the energy market, I have underlined our support reforming its functioning mechanisms in order to increase its resilience and reduce the impact of natural gas prices on electricity bills. So once again, thank you very much for hosting us, and thank you very much for contributing to enhancing our bilateral relationships.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we'll open up for a few questions, and we'll start with the Romanian national television. Vlad, if you raise your hand, you'll get a microphone. Yes. And if you have more than one question, please ask them at the same time.
My question is for the Swedish Prime Minister. In January, you said that you are determined to have on the agenda the enlargement of the Schengen area for Romania and Bulgaria. Will there be a favorable response for Romania by June? And I know that you have discussion yesterday with the Chancellor of Austria. Did he change his position regarding Romania's accession in Schengen area?
Well, the simple answer is no, he did not. The simple answer to your first question is yes, we do have it on the agenda. We will keep it on the agenda. We will do everything we can to facilitate these discussions. And we are, as I said, we are from Swedish side very much in favor. And I think there is an expectation from the European Council for this matter to be solved during this year. But everybody realized that the decision making has to be made in every country. So it's on the agenda, yes.
Okay, then we'll do the Swedish radio here.
på svenska eftersom jag behöver ett svar på svenska.
I will translate for you.
Ja.
This can be exciting.
Jag skulle först vilja ha en kort kommentar på att nu det är klartecken för att släppa in Finland i NATO och sen följdfråga på det vad regeringen konkret nu gör. Har ni kontakter med era partivänner i Ungern? Har du bett Rumänien om hjälp? Och tror du att det faktum att Sveriges regering har beslutat att stödja EU-kommissionen i målet mot Ungern i domstolen nu, att det på något vis kan påverka den här processen?
Ja, först som jag sa, vi gratulerar självklart Finland. Finland är nu i mål och det finns inga reservationer i Sveriges gratulationer. Lika lite som det fanns några reservationer i Finlands förhoppning att Sverige så fort som möjligt kommer in. Så att den är reservationslös. Det här är bra för Finland, det är också bra för vår gemensamma säkerhet. Det hade varit ännu bättre om vi kom in samtidigt. Det är precis så vi tycker. Och jag känner mig väldigt trygg att så tycker också alla andra NATO-länder som har ratificerat oss. Det bästa vore att vi kom in samtidigt. Nu är Finland inne och det är gott så. Det vi nu gör är ju naturligtvis att vi dels inväntar det turkiska valet. Jag tror alla inser att det finns en betydande del i detta som också handlar om turkisk inrikespolitik. Det är fullt respektabelt, så är det i de flesta länder. Men vi har också ständig och mycket tät kontakt med alla andra NATO-länder som hade velat se oss inne redan. Inte minst så sent som idag diskuterar vi den saken naturligtvis också. Och det är också väldigt många premiärministrar som också erbjuder sig att föra vidare de samtalen med sina motsvarigheter, till exempel i Ungern och i Turkiet. Så jag tycker att vi har ett otroligt gott internationellt stöd på alla sätt och vi tar varje tillfälle som ges. Men vi ska också ha is i magen. Det här är ett beslutsfattande som ytterst måste ske i Ungern och i Turkiet. Och det är fortsatt vår förhoppning och 28 andra länders förhoppning att det här sker före eller vid Vilniusmötet, men några garantier finns inte för detta. Sen också frågan om, nej men det är ju självklart, alltså, homosexuellas rättigheter, det är en väl känd ståndpunkt för svenska regeringar sedan lång tid tillbaka, inklusive för den här regeringen, så att vi gör det som är självklart för Sverige och för många andra länder att göra i en sån här situation, och det har ju som du vet ingenting med NATO-medlemskapet att göra.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll go to Radio Romania. Petruta, if you raise your hand, yes.
For the both prime ministers, you talk about the situation in the Black Sea area. You also discussed a possible military cooperation, and in this case, what is about for this cooperation will consist of?
Well, I was partly saying that we appreciate what Romania is doing, and partly say that that is very much corresponding to what Sweden could do as a future ally as well. What I basically try to say is that Sweden is, as everybody knows, seeking NATO membership because we think that the common defense is important for us, but we are also seeking NATO membership because of what we can provide with. We are a security provider. We have advanced abilities and capabilities, not least in the air, and that we are very eager to be able to share that and to show that for the rest of the free world.
If I may, I think it's a very good question, taking into account that in this process of accessing, and I do really wish to happen during next summit in Vilnius. I'm seeing Sweden as a future member of NATO, but also as a NATO partner. So, taking into account that today, when we are speaking, NATO has already increased its presence in the Black Sea area, specifically in Romania. US has also increased its presence in the Black Sea area and also in other locations in Romania. I do believe that Sweden can take part in our exercises, and they can deploy their forces and to be part of the NATO presence in Ciucă. Ciucă is an area where the NATO forces are located and they are conducting exercises. And this is a very good opportunity to have the Sweden presence in Romania and also looking forward to its membership of the alliance. So.
Okay, thank you. That will have to be the final words because time has run out. Thank you for coming to this press conference.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Prime Minister, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.